I'm trying to support my family by reselling thrifted items on eBay, but this is not an easy gig. I've been struggling to crack my $1,000 per week profit goal, and I'm actually outgrowing my tiny basement storage area. We've got some serious work to do this week, but up first, let's jump into what sold over the weekend. And up first, we've got this Skills SKLZ softball baseball face mask. Picked this up, gosh, I must have paid like $1 for this, I think, from a garage sale, along with some other sporting equipment. You know, this is one of those things you're like, well, I have it, I might as well list it, and decided to price it very aggressively so that it would actually sell. Sold that for $10 and free shipping, so I'll make a couple bucks on that. Sold another Department 56 Village piece. This is the Cratchit family, a caroling with the Cratchit family. Again, paid $5 for this and sold it for $18 plus shipping. Picked up a ton of Power Ranger stuff from an estate sale a few weeks back and been selling through it very, very fast, thankfully. Maybe have like $2 to $3 an item into it. Sold this Power Rangers Wild Force sword for $25 plus shipping. Picked up this diesel watch from a garage sale for $10 and then put another $3 to $4 worth of batteries into it to get it working. This is the largest watch I've ever seen in my life. It is absolutely massive. Most other listings on eBay were like $300, which felt totally unrealistic to me, especially watches are actually pretty slow sell-through rate on average, but you know, I don't worry about that too much. I'm finding that I'm selling them pretty quick. I'm pricing them to sell, you know what I mean? So you're competing with people that have this for $300. You know, there are no sold comps for this. I listed mine for $190. I listed it for $190 and took a best offer at $150 like a week and a half after I listed it. So is it a slow sell-through rate? I don't think so. It's just people aren't pricing things right. So again, like I understand if you paid $500 for this item, like brand new in the store, and you want to try and get as much of your money back as you can, but if there's no market for it, there's no market for it. So $150, $10 into $150, I'm very, very happy with. Sold another board game from my personal collection. Been trimming this down very slowly. I'm calling this a break even, but sold this Treasure Island board game for $40 and free shipping. Picked up these Giro cycling shoes for $12 from a thrift store and sold them for $35 plus shipping. Picked up this Hooked on Phonics set for $5 from a thrift store, sold for $35 plus shipping. This is the very last board game like this that I will sell. I'm not really buying board games anymore. I find them to be just a pain in the butt. You know, when it's from my personal collection, it's different because I know that it's complete. I don't have to count it. I take very good care of my stuff. There's no concern that the pieces are in bad condition or that there's anything missing. Like, this is one of my main hobbies. I take good care of my stuff. But for something you're buying from the thrift store, obviously you have to count it, you have to check it for condition, it's gonna have issues, and if it is complete, it's still, like, they don't resell for that much money, they're a pain to ship, like, they're expensive to ship. So this is probably one of the last ones like this that I'm going to sell, unless, you know, I buy, like, this game specifically, because this one's actually pretty good. Paid, like, $4 or $5 for this vintage 1970s Masterpiece, the art auction game. Sold it for $45 plus shipping. That took a long time to sell, probably like 6 months. Got this set, this vintage Wedgwood like candle holders. Sold those for $20 plus shipping. Paid $3 for these Polo Ralph Lauren jeans. Sold them for $28 plus shipping. Picked up this Schutt DNA Pro football helmet for $15 from a thrift store and sold it for $40 plus shipping. Picked up this James Purse Henley. Is a very good brand. It is like a cotton cashmere blend. Picked up for $5 and sold for $30 plus shipping. Got this DC Collectibles Batman Arkham City Joker statue, $10 from a garage sale and sold for $77 plus shipping. This one took a while to sell as well. Another item from my personal collection, but I profited on this. I paid, I believe they were $30 a piece. I bought these 2 Magic the Gathering, they call them secret layers. They're like these predetermined sets. You know what cards are going to be in it, but they're like special treatments and stuff. So I paid $60 for this lot of 10 cards. It went up in value since I bought it. I played with them in the meantime, but decided to sell them and got $100 plus shipping for those. Picked up this pair of women's Columbia snow pants off of the curb for free. It was a garage sale day, and I think that people gave up and they put a bunch of stuff on the curb for free. So grabbed these snow pants, sold them for $17 plus shipping. Paid $7 for this Miami Dolphins Salute to Service hoodie It's from Nike. There's this like digital camo kind of military theme. I've sold a couple of these before and they sell really fast, so definitely a bolo. I sold this for $35 plus shipping. And then the final item today, I sold one of these last week as well. It's called an automaton electronic musical instrument. It's like a little toy. Brand new sealed, sold for $33 plus shipping. But also this week, my plan, I actually am going to be rearranging this room a little bit. So I don't normally show this because it's kind of a freaking mess. You can obviously see all the stuff I have listed behind me. Let me just turn the camera around real quick. I've got this shelf over here that's all listed stuff. That is mostly like shoes and bags and stuff. And then we've got like bins of clothing on the floor. Some random like VCRs and stuff. I usually put like toys and things over here. Legos and stuff. I've got a little rack of some clothing hanging. And this tends to be like vintagey stuff. Random like game consoles and other things in that little shelf there. Yeah, but again, my goal for this week is just to get this room kind of like rearranged. I've been chipping away at it a little bit here and there, but gonna dedicate a little bit more time to that this week. And then we're already off to a great week with 17 sales. A brand new challenge started 2 weeks ago. I'm setting aside 5% of my profits to buy Game Boy Advance games. So as a console I have a lot of nostalgia for, and I'm very excited to dive into that library of games. So you see this game fund tallying, that is what it's going for. And at the end of the week, we are adding another Game Boy Advance game to the collection. Even though Christmas is only a couple weeks away, I'm an adult and I can buy myself stuff whenever I want to. So that is what is happening this week. Let's go ahead and get these packed up.
And now let's go hit the thrift store. My wife was with me today and we absolutely packed the cart. Let me show you what I got. First up, we grabbed these two Littlest Pet Shop buildings for $6 each, which should be nice $20 to $30 items. We grabbed this set of two vintage 90s coffee mugs for $2.99 for the set, with a sold comp around $25 for just a single mug. I also picked up a few clothing items, including this Giants hoodie and a massive 5XL for $13, which should sell really fast purely because of the size. This J. Crew cotton cashmere blend sweater for $8, which should be a nice little $25 item. I also got this Bulwark fire-resistant shirt for only $2 that unfortunately does have a flaw but should still sell for around $20 or so. And I wouldn't have bought this otherwise, but this Vineyard Vine shirt was on sale for $2 as well, another nice little $20 item.
Today is Wednesday, and I've got 6 more things that have sold since Monday. But before I jump into those, we're back with another Wednesday Weird and Wacky Bolo. And today, I'm a little bit biased. I keep doing like weird, random like 80s and 90s toys because it's just kind of like stuff I like. So you're going to have to deal with that. I'm sure if you're here, you probably like that kind of stuff too. Today, we're going to be talking about monster balls. So if you were around, you were a kid in the 90s, you probably came across these. I think I might have had one as a kid. I honestly don't remember. So you see these things like all the time and you're like, why do I know about these? Just like seeing the commercials and stuff, I guess. Man, this whole time I've been sitting here talking, I thought they were called monster balls. They're called Madballs. This is the thing I had in my head was Madballs. So here we go. So highest price, Madballs. Okay. Wow, this is crazy. The highest one, again, there's some that are like crazy. Apparently people are getting these graded now too, graded toys. So interesting. Okay, so this one is called the Goal Eater. It's like a soccer ball. They got it graded, brand new, sealed. $2,600 for that. A lot. So these are open. Series 1. These are really cool. Yeah, some of this stuff you're like, if I found this, would I keep it? And I don't know. Some of these you're like, I kind of have like this number in my head. It's like, if it's worth less than like $100, I'll keep it and feel no qualms about that at all. Some of these rare collectibles, like you found this toy, you're like, God, this thing's worth $500. Like, I have to sell it. I'd rather just have $500 cash. I don't know what that says about me, but that's probably most people, to be honest. Is like, who wants to keep $1,000 collectible on the shelf? That does take a very specific type of person to want to keep something like that, or you just have to be so well off that the $1,000 is like absolutely meaningless to you. But for me, like if I ever found something like this, it's a toy that's worth $1,000, even if it was like
like a grail, like goodbye, it's gone. It's being sold. Up next, you've got another Goal Eater, brand new. Again, this one's not graded, $1,600. Foul Shot, $1,600. Touchdown Terror, $1,600. These are on bids too, by the way. So, you got to be careful. There are such a thing as like shill bids on eBay. That's kind of nuts. All right, so another Goal Eater. Seems like the sports ones are pretty popular. Touchdown Terror again, $1,600. A lot of, looks like about, like, these are all used though, about 10 to 15 figures, $1,000. Brand new Oculus Orbis, $1,000. Another lot of 7 for $800 on bids. Gumball Machine Bank, little gumball dispenser, $750. Another brand new one, the Oculus, $700. Oh, these are bootlegs. Yeah, so even the bootlegs do well, like the not name brand one. It's called Creepy Bods. Someone got $600 for that. We got a Mummy for $450, and then Swine Sucker for $425, another bank. So there you go. Obviously, these have a very distinct style, and as long as they were reasonably priced, like, I would always pick these up, and you're probably got something really good on your hands, even if it's like a knockoff or something. So there you go. Not Monster Balls, they are called Madballs, and that was Wednesday's Weird and Wacky Bolo. And let's jump into the 6 things that have sold since Monday. And we are definitely benefiting from this like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas shopping, because we've been selling some good stuff. So up first, I've been sitting on this forever. These 360s for parts just sat around forever. I finally sold them. It was 3 of them for $50 plus shipping. Sold another vintage sweater. I've got to be like almost out of these. I bought a huge lot of vintage sweaters from one garage sale, maybe like 20 to 30 of them, for $4 a piece. And this one is a J. Crew, called it a fisherman's sweater. It is made from lamb's wool. Sold it for $36 plus shipping. Got this new with tags Timberland hoodie for $3 from a garage sale, and sold it for $34 plus shipping. Sold another VCR. I usually pay about $10 for these from garage sales and thrift stores. Sold this one for $30 plus shipping. Picked this up from an estate sale a few weeks back. Only paid $1 for it. It is this mirrored glass jewelry box. Sold it for $50 plus shipping. So up next, picked up this Fujifilm. It's called the FinePix digital camera from a thrift store for $15. Normally Fujifilms aren't great, but this had the camera, a case, some accessories, the box. So because it had all of that, I think that's really what made this worth picking up. Ended up selling that for $54 plus shipping. And that's everything I've got today. Let's go ahead and get these packed up.
And managed to find time for another thrift run this week. Really was on the fence about this first item, but ended up picking up this Axe softball bat for $7.50. That should be about a $30 item plus shipping. Also picked up this Champion reverse weave for $8. That should sell well for around $25 to $30. And these Saucony running shoes were a bit expensive at $22, but conservatively, I should be able to get at least $50, and they're in very good used condition.
So good morning. Today is Friday. We've got 9 more things that have sold since Wednesday. And don't forget, at the end of this week, I'm going to be tallying up the game fund and heading over to the game store to add another Game Boy Advance game to the collection. Let's see. Let's jump into these 9 things that sold. So up first, we've got this Seiko silver and gold tone watch for $12 from a thrift store, and sold it for $55 plus shipping. Picked up this Littlest Pet Shop, paid $6 for it, and sold it for $36 plus shipping. So next up is this vintage Christmas tree topper. It is an angel. It like moves, and I think it's like holding a little candle that lights up. And it is from this brand Animates. Picked it up for $3 from a Goodwill and sold it for $45 plus shipping. Very, very fast. And thankfully it sold, because if it didn't sell in the next 2 weeks, it probably will not for another year. Sold another Nintendo Wii bundle. So I mentioned before last week that I had never been able to actually sell one of these. And I think that just the competition for this listing is really, really high. Ended up bundling it with a Wii Sports, because I was listing them separately. Wii Sports would usually sell like super fast. And so, it kind of makes sense, like people doing their Christmas shopping. It's like you want everything all in one, and that's the game that everybody wants with it. So I ended up pairing those together, and I sold another bundle for $55 plus shipping, a Wii remote, all the cables, and a copy of Wii Sports. A little bit more, not much, a little bit more than I would get from trading it into the game store. So I'm not sure, if I come across these, whether I'll want to continue to sell them myself. I mean, we'll see. If it has a copy of Wii Sports, maybe I'll list it, and if not, I'll trade it in. Because I get like $25 to $30 from the game store, which is, about the same as what I'm getting on eBay. So up next, I've got this Jellycat. Very large. It is 26 inches tall. This stuffed giraffe. Picked this up for $3 from a garage sale, and it took a while to sell, but ultimately sold it for $70 and free shipping. Got this Tiffany & Co. It is from 2000. It's this little like porcelain trinket box. Paid $8 from a thrift store for this and sold it for $35 plus shipping. We've got I'm getting very, very low on consoles now, almost through all of them. I've maybe like 10 left, a couple GameCubes, a PlayStation 1. I have some 4-parts consoles that I need to list, and then I got a couple Xbox 360s. So we're like almost through the entire pile, which is great. I really wanted to try and get that done this year. About a year ago, I made a huge purchase, and it was just buying consoles off of thrift stores and garage sales and stuff, and they take a long time to list, and I really only have been doing this like kind of full time since about like September when my kids started school. So I really am still only working at this project like 4 hours a day, about like 9 to 1 every day. Have a lunch, do some stuff around the house, and then go pick them up from school. So, I've had this pile. I was able to source more than I was able to do the mechanics of like the business side of listing and all that. So now that has kind of come back into equilibrium. And anyway, that pile is getting very, very small. So this is one of the last few consoles that I have. And I don't know how much I'm going to want to buy these going forward, just because of how much work they are. I would so much, because profit-wise, it's not really that great for the amount of work you're having to do on it. I would much rather like buy a nice shirt or a jacket or something instead. But we'll kind of see. We'll see how that goes. But I did sell this PlayStation 3 Slim. I have about $20 into it and sold it for $68 plus shipping. Again, I made a big video game buyout about a year ago, and I'm pretty sure the guy worked at like a recycling center or something, and he was just kind of like sniping stuff off the top. And so most of the things that I bought from him were untested. I did very, very well on that purchase overall. I spent like $1,300. It was probably like $3 to $4 grand worth of stuff. Lots of video game consoles, some games, stuff like that. I actually have that video if you want to go check out what was in there. But I got this huge bag of controllers. And I'm not at a point where, and I don't think I ever will be, where I want to do repairs on things that are like low dollar value. And I'll, even if it's expensive, I'll try and do something simple, but I don't really know how to solder. I don't want to get into all of that to squeeze like a couple extra dollars out of something. It's just not a great use of time. So as I was going through all this stuff and was pairing controllers and consoles and stuff, I was just setting them aside. And I had this big bag, 25 video game controllers from all different consoles, PS2 up through PS4, plus Xbox 360, Xbox One. Pretty much have like nothing into this. So this is almost all profit. Call it $10 I've got into this lot. Sold it for $120 very, very fast, plus $20 shipping. And then sold another Littlest Pet Shop building. These are definitely bolos. These sell really, really fast whenever I find them. This one is called the Tail Wagon Fitness Club. It is from 2007. Again, $6 from a Goodwill, and sold it within a couple days for $28 plus shipping.
And now, before I tally up the game fund, this week kind of got away from me a bit, so I'm rearranging my storage room and shipping station on Saturday morning while my kids eat breakfast upstairs. The biggest thing is first just getting all of this stuff out of here so I can actually move this giant table. I'm putting it right outside this room. It's going to free up a ton of additional storage space. I'm at about 500 active listings on eBay right now, and I think if I can make a little more room in here, I should be able to comfortably grow to about 1,000 without needing any additional space. I'll also be much more comfortable having a bit more room packing my boxes. And now with that table out of here, I was able to bring in 2 more shelving units, and looking forward to filling this up with some good stuff.
And with that out of the way, we generated $702 in profit this week, giving us $105 to spend on Game Boy Advance games this week. Let's go shopping. And for $20, we are adding a copy of Mother 3, putting us at 8 out of our top 50 Game Boy Advance games. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.